Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to do the Tire Shine Showdown. This video has been a work of progress for the past 2 weeks. I want to test the longevity and the durability of the products that I'm using. For the longevity test, I applied these products to my personal vehicle. The vehicle has been driven daily. It's seen high heat. It's been left out in the rain and the elements, and I've also driven it in the rain, so it's going to be interesting to see how these products held up over the past 2 weeks. For the durability test, I applied these products to my truck. I let them set and I let them cure for 24 hours. How we're going to test that durability is we're going to get a foam cannon, we're going to put some CarPRO lift in it, and we're going to spice that CarPRO lift up with a little all-purpose cleaner. We're going to spray it on the tires, we're going to rinse it off, we're going to do that twice, and we're going to see how they hold up after that. So without further delay, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so as we get into it, the first product we're going to apply will be the Sonax Tire Gel. So in case you're wondering, I am using a brand new applicator for each tire shine so I don't have any cross-contamination. This product did seem to go on pretty smooth, no issues when I was putting it on. I did add a little bit extra, but I added extra with all the products. After it was applied, it does have a real great shine to it. Looks very nice. I'm anxious to see how it works out and how it holds up over the next few weeks. Alright, now we'll move on to the left rear wheel. The product we'll use on this one will be the Meguiars Tire Gel. I actually picked this up at AutoZone. It was $10.99, so out of all the products, this is the only one that I bought or purchased over the counter. Alright, this Meguiars Tire Gel also went on pretty smooth without any hiccups or any issues. And I also want to mention that the application of all these, I did let this set up for a few hours before I drove the car. I did check it after I drove it initially the first time, and I didn't see any slinging from any of the products, so that's a plus. Just like the Sonax Tire Gloss Gel, the Meguiars has an amazing shiny finish on it as well. Now we'll move on to the right front tire. On this tire, I chose to use CarPRO Perl. I did not dilute it when I put it on the tire. I left it straight in the bottle. Since I couldn't dilute the other products, I didn't feel it would be fair to dilute the CarPRO Perl. I do feel like I need to mention on this product that I did have to go over it a little extra, make a few more passes around it than I did the other products because it's white, and in order you have to make sure you get any excess off and it's all rubbed in. But it did shine up pretty well and it left a nice finish. Next up is the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. It's very watery and it gave me a few issues applying. All I did is put a few sprays onto an applicator, and I had to go around it several times to help balance out the excess and to make the tire look good. And And this seems to be the common theme on the water-based products, because the CarPRO Perl is also water-based, as well as the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. So this is the finish I really like on tire dressings. It's not real shiny, gives a nice satin, deep, dark black finish, and this is what I like. Alright, and these next two clips, this is a 1 weekend on the tire dressing test. As you can see, the Meguiar's Endurance is holding up really well. And we'll go to the other side. The CarPRO Perl is so-so. And the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing is hanging in there really well also. Like I said, that's the type of finish I like, and it's still going good after a week. Alright, in these next few clips, this is the 2 week point, and if you look at this left front tire with the Sonax Tire Gel, you can see why I ended it here. It's pretty much non-existent on that tire. On the left rear wheel with the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel, it still looks pretty good. Not as shiny as it was when it was applied, but you can still tell there's dressing there. Then we go to the right rear wheel with the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. Still has a dark matte finish to it, but it has degraded. And then we go to the right front tire with the CarPRO Perl. You can tell it has degraded a good bit as well, but still there, still has a dark finish to it. Now we're fixing to clean each tire to see how much, if any, finish is left. First, we'll go with the left front tire that has the Sonax Tire Gloss Gel. We'll spray it down. It is browning up somewhat, but it's more of a beige than a brown, which kind of tells me that there's not a lot of dressing left on that tire. As you can see in these before and after pictures, not a whole lot of difference, so it doesn't look like the Sonax held up very well on the longevity test. Next up, we'll clean the tire with the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel. So we spray it. We're going to spray it all around the tire. We're going to let it set for about 30 seconds to a minute. Then we're going to take a look at it and see how brown it turns. So it is definitely turning browner than the Sonax tire. Get close in on it, you can see a lot of dark brown pockets that aren't foaming up. And you can visibly tell the difference before the cleaning and after the cleaning. Next up is the right front tire with the CarPRO Perl. We're going to spray it down again. Let it dwell for 30 seconds to a minute, and then take a look, see how the wheel looks, or how the tire looks rather. As you can see, we're getting some browning on it as well. So that leads me to believe there was still some CarPRO Perl left. This is before the cleaning, sorry for the bad video. And then after the cleaning, so you can tell a visible difference in it as well. Next up is the tire with the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing on it. This is the right rear tire. We're going to spray the Meguiar's wheel and tire cleaner on it. Then we're going to let it set for 30 seconds to a minute, just like the other tires. Then we're going to check for any discoloration or any browning after we spray it on. As we're spraying, you can see color changing going on. You can see some browning on the tire. As we look closer at it, you can see the browning even more. You can also tell a color difference on the before and after. The after picture is kind of an ashy charcoal color versus the deep dark matte finish on the before picture. Right, next we're getting ready to prepare for our longevity test. I'm mixing up some CarPRO lift into a foam cannon. I already had some CarPRO lift in here. It was about 3/4 full to begin with, so I added some CarPRO lift and some all-purpose cleaner. Then I broke open a new bottle of CarPRO lift and added even more. So we're really going to put these tires to the test on the test vehicle. First up, we're going to check the tire that had the Sonax tire gloss gel applied to it. We're going to go ahead and spray it down. As you can see, the tire gloss gel is sheeting the foam off of the tire, so there is some layer of protection there. So we're going to let it set for a moment, then we're going to rinse it off. Now as we're rinsing, looking at the tire, you can tell the difference in how the tire looks versus how it looked before we started cleaning. Now we're going to hit it with the foam cannon one more time. It's still trying to sheet the foam off of the tire. So we're going to go ahead and rinse it again after it dwells for a moment. As you can see, the CarPRO lift and the all-purpose cleaner and the foam cannon did a pretty good number, but there is still a little gloss left on the tire. Next up is the left rear wheel of the truck. This had the Meguiars Tire Gel on it, so we're going to go ahead and foam it as well. It's not trying to sheet as well as the Sonax Tire Gel, but it does try to sheet it somewhat. Alright, now we're going to rinse this tire off. We'll take a quick look at it and see how it looks after one pass from the foam cannon. Now we're going to make our second pass with the foam cannon. We're going to let that set and dwell for a few seconds, and then we're going to rinse it off. The goal of this test was to try to mimic a drive-through car wash. As we rinse, we can look at the tire and still tell we have a good bit of shine left from the tire dressing, but it's not as well as it was when we first put it on. So we take a closer look, you can see it's still pretty shiny. Next up, we'll go to the right front tire. This is the tire I put on the CarPRO Perl, and I also applied it on this tire undiluted. So we're going to go ahead and spray it down with the CarPRO lift and the all-purpose cleaner. We're going to let it dwell for a moment. Now we're going to come back and rinse off the foam for this first pass. Then we'll take a quick look at it and then we'll refoam it. After rinsing, you can look at the tire and tell it looks a little milky. I'm not sure if it's trying to fight off the foam or what happened on that, but we're going to go ahead and hit it up one more time. Now we'll come back and rinse the second foam pass off, and we'll take a quick look at the tire and see how well it looks. It doesn't look that terrible, but you can tell it was degraded somewhat. Next up is the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. I put this on the right rear tire. So we're going to go ahead and foam it up. We're going to let it dwell for a few moments. Then we're going to come back and rinse it off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and rinse this foam off. Then we're going to take a quick look at the tire and see how well the tire dressing is holding up. Now we'll go ahead and refoam this tire, make the last pass on it, let it dwell for a few moments, then we'll take a look at it. We'll go ahead and rinse this foam off. This has a milky look to it as well. Maybe it's something to do with it being a water-based tire dressing like the CarPRO Perl. Alright, so we're going to take a quick look around the truck again with the dry wheels. This is the before picture with the Sonax Tire Gel. This is the after shot. The foam cannon did a pretty good number on the Sonax Tire Gel. Next up we'll go to the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel. This is the before picture and this is the after. You can still see shine, but the foam cannon did do a pretty good number on the Endurance Tire Gel as well. Next we'll look at the CarPRO Perl tire. This is the before picture and this is the after picture. It did a number on it as well, but you can still see a matte finish on the tire. Next we'll go to the Meguiars. This is the before picture and this is the after picture, so it probably did not hold up as well as the CarPRO Perl did. Alright guys, so we reached the end of the video and I'm going to leave you with a few final thoughts. The first thought is on the price point. The Meguiar's Hyper Dressing, $19.99 per bottle as it comes, or as I purchased it. 32 ounces in the bottle. That averages out to 62 cents per ounce. So price point, that's the winner. And the other thing about hyper dressing is it can be purchased by the gallon. I did not price it by the gallon, but you can purchase it by the gallon, and you know the old saying, more is less. Second place is going to be the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel. This was $10.99 at AutoZone, 16 ounces, so that averages out to 69 cents per ounce. And like I said, you can go down the street to AutoZone to get it. You don't have to order it online. You don't have to go to a detailing product warehouse or supply company to pick it up. You can go down to AutoZone and pick it up. The longevity winner, the crown is going to go to the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel. At the end of the 2 weeks, this tire still had some gloss to it. It had a deep, dark black finish to it. So it's going to be crowned the champion of the longevity. Second place is going to go to the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. You could tell it degraded over the 2 week period, but it did still have a deep, dark, rich, satin matte finish to it on the tire. So those would be my two picks for the longevity test. Alright, on the durability test, again, the Meguiar's Endurance Tire Gel. I sprayed it twice with the foam cannon and rinsed it off each time. Still had shine to it. You could tell it degraded the tire dressing somewhat, but it still had shine to it. Second place on the durability test is going to go to the CarPRO Perl. Alright, the CarPRO Perl barely edged out the Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. So one thing you could probably chalk that up to is I use CarPRO Lift in the foam cannon. Perl is a CarPRO product, so kind of take that for what you want, but that's what I found out in that test. So I don't know if the Perl would be less affected by the lift since they're both CarPRO products. I don't know if CarPRO makes their stuff like Optimum where everything kind of intertwines together, and for the most part it doesn't affect it. So you have to do your own research on that and take it for what it's worth. Alright, one product you don't see up here is the Sonax. The Sonax Tire Gloss Gel. I just can't recommend it. After a week on the longevity test, you could barely see traces of it. It was still there, but at the end of the 2 weeks, nothing. I mean, you could still see where it was there. You could see when I sprayed the Meguiar's wheel and tire cleaner on it, you could see it browning up somewhat, but for the most part it was gone. Same thing on the durability test. You can see traces of it after I rinsed off, but that's probably just places I missed with the pressure washer, so take it for what you want. And another thing with the Sonax is it was the most expensive product priced per ounce that I tested out. So overall, like I said, I just can't recommend the Sonax tire gloss gel in good faith. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. I'll be coming up with great future content. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any ideas for videos, drop them in the comments. Any products you want to see tested out, anything like that, leave them in the comments. I'm kind of enjoying doing these product testings, and I'm still pretty new at it, and I'll get better as I go along, but it is fun to do. I can't lie to you. But that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. You guys have a great evening or a great morning, depending on where you are and what time it is. I appreciate you watching. Thanks, and have a good day.